Dr. Maya Chin knelt in the red soil of New Appalachia, her fingers gently pressing seeds into the earth. The twin suns cast long shadows across her garden, where rows of green plants from earth grew in careful patterns. Her grandmother's journal lay open beside her, its worn pages fluttering in the warm breeze. She wiped sweat from her forehead and smiled at the small purple flowers blooming near her feet. Eyebright, her grandmother had called them, simple little plants that grew wild on Earth, now precious treasures on this distant colony world. Maya had spent 5 years recreating her grandmother's garden here, bringing life from old Earth to this new soil. The ground suddenly shook beneath her knees. Maya looked up at the sky. Something massive was falling through the atmosphere, trailing smoke and fire. The colony alarm began to wail as the object crashed into the valley beyond the settlement. The impact sent tremors through ground that knocked Maya backward. Within minutes, people were running and shouting. Maya grabbed her medical bag and joined the crowd rushing toward the crash site. When they arrived, everyone stopped and stared in silence. It was enormous. A creature at least 30 feet long lay crumpled in the smoking crater. Its body was covered in scales that shimmered like metal, and great wings spread out like the sails of an ancient ship. The colonists whispered the name they had heard in stories. Drakthar, a star dragon. The creature's head lifted weakly. Its eyes were massive like crystal spheres, but something was terribly wrong with them. They were clouded over, leaking a strange blue fluid. The dragon made a sound like wind through a cave. Full of pain, Governor Reeves pushed through the crowd. "Stay back. These things are dangerous. We don't know what it wants." But Maya saw the trembling in the creature's body, the way it kept touching its ruined eyes with delicate claws. She had seen that kind of suffering before. She moved forward. "Dr. Chun, get back here," the governor shouted. Maya ignored him. She approached slowly, her hands raised. The dragon's head turned toward her, tracking her movement despite its blindness. Up close, she could see the intelligence in those damaged eyes, the fear and confusion of a being in agony. She spoke softly. "I want to help you. Please let me look." The dragon lowered its massive head to the ground in front of her. Maya's hands shook as she examined the eyes. The damage was severe, the tissue inflamed and deteriorating. Behind her, she heard the colony's chief medical officer, Dr. Vasquez, arrive with his equipment. He scanned the creature with advanced instruments for 20 minutes. Finally, he shook his head. "There's nothing we can do. Drakthar biology is beyond our medical knowledge. These readings don't even make sense. I'm sorry." The dragon made that painful sound again, and Maya felt her heart break. That night, while the colony council argued about what to do with their dying visitor, Maya sat in her small house reading her grandmother's journal by candlelight. She turned to a page marked with a press flower. For inflammation of the eyes, her grandmother had written in careful handwriting. "Take eye-bright flowers, steep in clean water, strain, and apply as drops. Nature knows what nature needs." It was too simple, too primitive. The colony had technology that could heal broken bones in minutes, but it couldn't help the dragon. What could flowers possibly do? But Maya remembered her grandmother's words. Sometimes the old ways work because they've had thousands of years to prove themselves. At dawn, Maya returned to the crater. The dragon had not moved. Its breathing was shallow. She knelt beside its great head and pulled out a small bottle from her bag. Inside was a clear liquid she had prepared through the night, extract from her precious eye-bright flowers mixed with sterile saline. "This might not work," she whispered, "but it's all I have to offer you." She carefully applied drops to each enormous eye. The dragon flinched but did not pull away. Maya worked in silence, applying the medicine every few hours throughout the day. Governor Reeves and others came to watch, some shaking their heads at her foolishness. By evening, Maya was exhausted. She sat beside the dragon, checking its eyes one more time before heading home. Then she froze. The cloudiness had decreased. Just slightly, but it was there. Real change. 3 days passed. Maya applied her simple earth medicine every few hours, barely sleeping. The dragon began to move more, to lift its head with strength. On the 4th day, those crystalline eyes cleared completely. The dragon looked at Maya. truly looked at her, and she saw tears sliding down its scale face. The creature's voice rumbled, speaking in perfect human language. I am Elder S.H. Zareth. I have lived 1,047 years. In all that time, across all the galaxy, no one has done what you have done. You have given me back the stars. Maya smiled tiredly. Just flowers and water. That's all it was. No, the elder said. It was wisdom. It was kindness. It was hope. 2 days later, Elder Esizareth prepared to depart. His ship, somehow self-repaired, rose from the crater. He bowed his great head to Maya one final time. I will not forget this gift, Maya-chan. Neither will my people. The ship vanished into the sky, and life in the colony returned to normal. Maya went back to her garden, planting seeds and tending her flowers. She had no idea that in 6 days, the sky would fill with 13,000 ships, and her simple act of kindness would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Maya was watering her eyebright flowers when she noticed the first light in the sky. It was early morning, and the light was wrong. Too bright, too steady to be a star. She shaded her eyes and watched it pulse gently against the darkness. By afternoon, there were 5 lights. By evening, 20. They hung in the sky like new stars that refused to move with the rotation of the planet. Maya felt a strange knot forming in her stomach. She walked to the colony's communication center, where people were gathered around the display screens. The sensor operator, a young man named Tommy, looked pale. What are they? Maya asked. Ships, Tommy said quietly. Big ones. They're just sitting out there past the moon. Our sensors can't identify them. Governor Reeves was already on the comm system, sending messages to Earth and nearby colonies. His voice was tight with tension. We need to know what we're dealing with here. Get me answers. Maya thought about Elder S.H. Zareth and felt a chill run down her spine. Over the next 6 days, more ships arrived. They appeared in flashes of light, dropping out of faster-than-light travel in groups of hundreds. The colony watched helplessly as their sky filled with unknown vessels. People stopped working. They gathered in the streets, pointing upward, their voices full of fear. Maya tried to continue her normal routine, but even she couldn't ignore the growing dread. The ships were clearly waiting for something. But what? On the 7th day, the sky went dark. It happened at noon. One moment the twin suns were shining. The next they were blocked by an impossible sight. Ships, thousands upon thousands of them, moving into formation above the planet. They blocked out the light, like a metal storm cloud. The colony alarm shrieked. People screamed and ran for their homes. Children cried in the streets. Governor Reeves's voice came over every speaker in the settlement, cracking with barely controlled panic. All residents to emergency shelters immediately. This is not a drill. All residents to emergency shelters now. Maya stood frozen in her garden, staring upward. The ships were beautiful in a terrifying way, their hulls gleaming like dragon scales. She recognized the design. Drakthar vessels. But so many. The galaxy had never seen a fleet like this. Her handheld comm device buzzed. It was Dr. Vasquez. Maya, get to the shelter. Whatever this is, it's bad. Earth is preparing for war. Every human colony is on high alert. Maya's hands trembled. Had she done something wrong? Had healing Elder S.H. Zareth somehow caused this? A single ship began to descend. It was larger than the others, ancient-looking, covered in markings that seemed to glow. The colony's defense turrets tracked it, but Governor Reeves ordered them to hold fire. What good would weapons do against 13,000 ships? The vessel landed in the same valley where Elder S.H. Zareth had crashed. Maya watched from her garden as a ramp extended and a familiar figure emerged. The Elder himself, his scales gleaming in the artificial twilight created by the fleet above. His voice boomed across the settlement, amplified somehow. I seek Dr. Maya-chan. I come in peace and in gratitude. Governor Reeves appeared beside Maya, flanked by security officers. What have you done? He hissed at her. What did you do to that creature? I helped him, Maya whispered. I just helped him. The governor grabbed her arm. You're coming with me. We'll face this together. They walked to the valley, a small group of frightened humans, approaching a being who commanded the largest military force in known space. Elder Zereth bowed his head when he saw Maya, and she heard gasps from people behind her. Mayachin, the elder's voice was gentle despite its power. Forgive me for fear we have caused. I tried to send messages ahead, but perhaps they were lost in translation. We did not come for war. We came for hope. I don't understand, Maya said, her voice small. The elder's crystalline eyes, now clear and bright, focused on her. For 40,000 years, my people have suffered. Our elders go blind as we age. We lose our sight, our ability to navigate the stars, our purpose. It is a genetic curse that has plagued us since the beginning of our history. Countless scientists have tried to solve it. All have failed. He stepped closer. Then you, a young human with flowers and water, did what civilizations with technology beyond your imagination could not. You cured me, Maya-chun. You gave me back my life. Maya felt dizzy. Around her, the colonists were silent, listening. Every elder in Drakthar space heard what you did. Zereth continued. Every ancient one who has lost their sight, who has lost their connection to our sacred duty of memory keeping. We have come to ask humbly if you will help them too. Will you share your grandmother's wisdom with us? Will humanity help the Drakthar see again? Governor Reeves spoke up, his voice suspicious. You brought 13,000 warships to ask for medical help. We brought 13,000 ships to honor the human who saved one of our elders, Zereth said. Among my people, there is no greater gift than sight, no greater crime than to let such a gift-giver stand unprotected. These ships are not a threat to you. They are a promise. Humanity has done what no species has done. You will be protected for it. Maya looked at the massive fleet above, then at the elder before her. She thought about her grandmother, about the simple plants growing in her garden, about how one act of kindness had brought thousands of alien ships to her world. Yes, she said finally. Yes, I'll help. I'll help all of them. Elder Zereth made a sound like singing, and above them, 13,000 ships flickered their lights in response. It looked like the stars themselves were dancing. Governor Reeves leaned close to Maya. I hope you know what you're doing. Maya looked down at her dirt-stained hands, at the garden behind her, at the journal tucked in her pocket. I'm just going to plant more flowers, she said. I'm going to need a lot more flowers. Maya's garden had grown 5 times larger in just 2 weeks. Colonists worked alongside Drakthar, digging rows in the red soil and carefully transplanting the precious eyebright flowers. The elder dragons moved with surprising gentleness, their massive claws delicate as they handled the tiny seedlings. Elder Zereth had offered Maya anything she wanted. Technology, wealth, land on any world she chose. She had refused it all. Instead, she asked for only one thing, help building more gardens so she could teach the Drakthar make the medicine themselves. Knowledge should be free, she had told him. My grandmother believed that. If I sell this cure, only the rich will see again. If I teach it, everyone can help each other. The elder had stared at her for a long moment, then bowed so low his head touched the ground. Your species continues to surprise us, he had said. Now Maya stood in her expanded garden sanctuary, surrounded by elders who had traveled across the galaxy. Some were so old their scales had turned silver. Others were younger, barely 500 years, but already their eyes were failing. They sat in patient lines, waiting their turn. She approached the first elder of the day, an ancient female named Kesare. The dragon's eyes were completely white, no color left in them at all. Maya gently tilted the great head back and applied the drops she had prepared at dawn. It will sting a little, Maya said softly. Kesare's voice was like wind through canyons. I have not seen in 70 years. Young one, a little sting is nothing. Maya moved down the line, treating each elder with care. She had learned that each dragon needed slightly different amounts. Some required stronger doses. Others needed the medicine applied more frequently. She adjusted her grandmother's recipe for each patient, writing detailed notes in a journal that was becoming as worn as her grandmother's. Dr. Vasquez watched from nearby, shaking his head in wonder. You're practicing intuitive medicine, he said. You're not following a formula. You're feeling your way through each treatment. Because they're not all the same, Maya replied, moving to the next patient. The advanced medical computers try to find one solution for all Drakthar, but biology doesn't work that way. Every living thing is a little bit different. A young Drakthar named Zethiar was learning beside her, carefully mimicking her movements. He was one of 20 dragons Maya was training to make and apply the medicine. His eyes were still clear, but he wanted to help his elders. Why do you smell each flower before you use it? Zethiar asked. Maya held up a purple bloom. Because this one is ready. That one over there isn't quite mature enough yet. The medicine won't be as strong. My grandmother taught me that plants tell you when they're ready if you pay attention. Zethiar's head tilted in confusion. Our technology measures chemical compounds with perfect accuracy. Why trust your nose? Because sometimes there are things your instruments can't measure, Maya said. My grandmother called it life force. The moment when a plant is at its peak. Machines can tell you what's in a plant, but they can't tell you when it's at its best. The young dragon was silent for a moment. Then he leaned down and carefully smelled the flower Maya held. His eyes widened. I sense it. A fullness. A completion. Maya smiled. Now you're learning. As days passed, something unexpected happened. Elder Kessere's vision began to return, and with it came tears. She called Maya to her one evening as the twin sun set. I must tell you what this means, the ancient dragon said. My people, we have a sacred tradition called a long memory. Our elders memorize our history and pass it down through spoken word. Every battle, every discovery, every story from 40,000 years. But when we go blind, we can no longer perform the ceremonies. We cannot read the star maps. We cannot teach the young ones properly. Our history has been dying with us. Maya sat beside the massive creature. And now I can see the stars again. Kessere's voice broke with emotion. I can read the ancient charts. I can teach. You have not just healed my eyes, young Maya. You have saved my people's soul. Word of the healing spread across the galaxy faster than light. Ships began arriving from other species. A Zentari ambassador came, asking if Earth medicine might help their plague. A Morvine delegation appeared, wondering if human wisdom could solve their food shortage. Representatives from a dozen civilizations landed on New Appalachia, all seeking the human who healed with flowers. Governor Reeves was overwhelmed. We're a small colony. We can't handle this many visitors. Our infrastructure can't support it. But the Drakthar had already thought of that. They built new facilities, installed water systems, created housing. New Appalachia transformed from a struggling settlement into a thriving hub almost overnight. The dragons worked tirelessly, repaying Maya's kindness with labor and resources. Maya began training more people, not just Drakthar, but humans too. She taught them her grandmother's methods, showed them how to listen to plants, how to observe patients, how to trust intuition alongside knowledge. Her grandmother's journal was translated into 15 languages, then 30, then 50. One evening, Elder Essizer found Maya sitting alone in her original garden, exhausted. You have started something that will change the galaxy, he said. Maya looked at her dirty hands, at the simple flowers around her. I'm just doing what my grandmother would have done, helping where I can. That is why it works, S.H. Zera said gently. You do not help for glory or profit. You help because it is right. The galaxy has forgotten this. We have become so advanced, so focused on technology, that we forgot the simple truth your grandmother knew. What truth? Maya asked. The elder's clear eyes reflected the starlight. That wisdom is not about having the best tools. It is about having the best heart. Above them, the fleet of 13,000 ships maintained their vigil. Below, in the gardens, flowers from Earth grew in alien soil, their simple purple blooms holding the hope of civilizations. And Maya Chun, granddaughter of a naturalist, continued the work her grandmother had started on a distant planet long ago. She planted seeds, mixed medicines, and taught anyone willing to learn. The galaxy had come seeking a miracle. What they found was something far more powerful. The human gift of sharing knowledge freely, of healing without asking for payment, of believing that strangers could become family. And it was just the beginning. 3 months had passed since the Drakthar fleet arrived, and Maya had not slept properly in weeks. Dark circles shadowed her eyes as she moved to the gardens, checking on plants and preparing medicines. Her hand shook slightly as she mixed the morning's batch of eye drops. Dr. Vasquez found her leaning against the garden wall, nearly asleep on her feet. "Maya, you need to rest. You're going to collapse. There are still 200 elders waiting for treatment," she said, forcing her eyes open, "and more arriving every day. I can't stop now." The colony had transformed into something neither beautiful nor comfortable. Thousands of aliens crowded the settlement. The water system struggled. Food supplies ran low despite Drakthar aid. Tensions were rising among the colonists who felt their home had been invaded, even if the invasion was peaceful. But the galaxy beyond New Appalachia was experiencing tensions of its own. Governor Reeves called Maya to his office one morning, his face grave. He showed her news feeds from across human space. A coalition called the Vorquin Combine, representing 12 species, was spreading messages through every communication channel. Humanity is using biological weapons disguised as medicine, a Vorquin spokesperson declared on the screen. They are controlling the Drakthar through chemical manipulation. This human, Maya Chen, is not a healer. She is a spy, and Earth is planning to dominate the galaxy through deception. Maya felt sick. "That's not true. None of that is true." "I know," Reeves said, "but truth doesn't matter when fear is louder." The Vorquin see the Drakthar alliance with humanity as a threat to their power. They've been the second strongest force in the galaxy for centuries. Now suddenly humans, who they consider primitive, have 13,000 dragon ships protecting them. More news feeds showed protests on Vorquin worlds. Demand for action, calls for war. Maya watched in horror as her face appeared on screen after screen, labeled as dangerous, as a criminal, as a threat to galactic peace. "They want to kill you," Reeves said bluntly. "Our intelligence says there are already assassins on their way." Maya thought of her grandmother's journal, of the simple flowers growing outside. How had healing become a crime? The attack came 3 nights later. Maya was working late in the greenhouse when the lights suddenly went out. She heard movement in the darkness, footsteps that were trying to be quiet. Her heart hammered in her chest. "Dr. Chen," a voice hissed in accented English, "we are here to free the galaxy from your manipulation. You should not have interfered with powers you do not understand." Maya backed away, her hands searching for anything to defend herself with. She heard the soft sound of a weapon charging. Then the greenhouse exploded with light and motion. Drakthar guards, assigned to protect Maya by Elder S.A. Zareth, burst through the walls. The assassins fired their weapons, but the dragons were faster. Within seconds, it was over. 5 Vorquin operatives lay unconscious on the floor, their weapons scattered. Elder S.A. Zareth himself arrived minutes later, his eyes blazing with anger. "They tried to kill you. They tried to murder the one who saved us." His voice shook the building. "This will not stand." But Maya was staring at the unconscious Vorquin, seeing their young faces. "Don't hurt them," she whispered. "Please. They're just scared. They don't understand." "They tried to kill you," S.H. Zareth repeated. "And if you kill them, you prove their propaganda right," Maya said, her voice growing stronger. "You prove that humans in Drakthar are dangerous. Please, let them go home. Let them tell their people that we showed mercy." The elder looked at her like she had grown a second head, but eventually he nodded. The next morning, Maya received a message from Earth. It was from the Human Colonial Council, the government that oversaw all human settlements. The speaker's face was stern. "Dr. Chun, your actions have placed humanity in a precarious political position. You have made us players in conflicts we are not prepared for. We order you to cease your medical activities immediately and return to Earth for debriefing." Maya read the message 3 times. Then she deleted it. She walked to the gardens where elders waited for treatment. She picked up her medicine bag and her grandmother's journal. She thought about the long memory, about the Drakthar culture that was being saved, about the connections being built between species who had never cooperated before. Governor Reeves found her an hour later. Maya, Earth is serious. They can force you to return. Let them try, Maya said quietly, applying drops to an elder's clouded eyes. These people need help. I'm not abandoning them because politicians are afraid. You realize what you're doing? You're defying your own government. Maya looked up at him. My grandmother used to say that sometimes the right thing and the legal thing aren't the same. I'd rather be right. By evening, Elder Zareth made an announcement that echoed across the galaxy. Dr. Maya Chen is under protection of the Granddaughter people. Any attempt to harm her or remove her against her shall be considered an act of war against all elders. The 13,000 ships remain as her guard. Governor Reeves found Maya sitting in her original small garden, the one she had started 5 years ago. Do you understand what just happened? The most powerful fleet in the galaxy just declared they'll go to war to protect you. Earth can't recall you now, even if they wanted to. You become too important. Maya touched the purple eyebright flowers gently. I never wanted to be important. I just wanted to help. Well, you're helping. You're helping so much that you've changed everything. Reeves sat beside her on the ground. The Colonial Council is furious, but they're also terrified. Humanity has never had this kind of protection before. You've made us untouchable. I've made us responsible, Maya corrected. Now we have to prove we deserve it. That night, Elder Kesare, the ancient female who had been blind for 70 years, came to Maya's small house. The dragon's restored eyes were wet with tears. I must tell you something, Kesare said. I have lived 1,200 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched species conquer and destroy each other. In all that time, across all the galaxy, I have never seen what I see in you. What's that? Maya asked tiredly. You were offered power and you gave it away. You were offered wealth and you refused it. You were threatened with death and you showed mercy. You were ordered to stop helping and you refused. The ancient dragon lowered her massive head. You possess something the galaxy has not seen in millennia. The strength to be kind when it costs you everything. Maya looked at her dirty hands, at her grandmother's worn journal, at the simple garden that had somehow changed the galaxy. It's not strength, she said. It's just what my grandmother would have done. Perhaps, Kesare said gently, but perhaps that is what makes humanity special. You do not see your own courage. You just see someone who needs help, and you help them. Outside, 13,000 ships stood guard in the darkness. Inside, Maya Chun continued preparing medicine for tomorrow's patients. The galaxy had tried to stop her, to threaten her, to kill her. She responded by planting more flowers. 1 year had passed since 13,000 ships appeared in the sky above New Appalachia. Maya stood in what was now called the Interspecies Healing Institute, watching students from 20 different species learn to cultivate earth plants. The building was enormous, built by the Granddaughter from materials that shimmered like starlight. A young human woman named Sarah carefully examined an eyebright flower, while a Zentari student beside her took notes with 3 of his 4 hands. Across the room, a Granddaughter named Zethar taught a class on intuitive medicine to a group of eager learners. Maya's grandmother's journal had been translated into 70 languages now, copied and shared across the galaxy. Maya herself looked different. She was thinner, tired, but her eyes held a quiet confidence that had not been there before. She walked through the institute, checking on her students, offering guidance, sharing the wisdom her grandmother had passed down. Elder Zareth found her in the original garden, the small plot where everything had started. He moved slowly now, with the careful grace of someone who treasured every movement, every sight. I have news, the elder said. The Galactic Council has requested your presence. They wish to honor you formally. Maya laughed softly. The same council that wanted me arrested 6 months ago. The same, Zareth admitted. Fear makes people do foolish things. But now they have seen what you have built. They have seen species working together who have been enemies for centuries. They have seen the Vorquin combine grow quiet as their own people begin requesting earth medicines. You have done what no treaty, no war, no negotiation could accomplish. Maya knelt and touched the soil, feeling its warmth. I didn't do anything special. I just shared what I knew. That is precisely what makes it special, S.H. Zara said. Other species guard their advantages jealously. Humans gave their knowledge away freely. And in doing so, you became indispensable to us all. 3 days later, Maya stood before the Galactic Council in a chamber that could hold 10,000 beings. Representatives from 200 species watched as the council speaker, a being of pure energy named Luminera, addressed the assembly. We have gathered to acknowledge a truth that changes our understanding of galactic civilization. Luminera's voice echoed through the chamber. For millennia, we have measured advancement by technology, by military strength, by economic power. We have competed, conquered, and destroyed in the name of progress. The speaker's light pulsed. Then came humanity, a young species, barely beyond their own solar system. They possessed no great weapons, no vast empire, no revolutionary technology. What they possessed was something we have forgotten: the wisdom to heal rather than harm, the courage to share rather than hoard, and the compassion to help strangers without asking for payment. Maya felt her cheeks burn as thousands of eyes turned to her. Dr. Maya-chun, with flowers and water, saw the genetic curse that had plagued the Drakthar for 40,000 years. She could have demanded anything. She asked only to teach others how to help themselves. This single act has created a network of cooperation that spans a galaxy. Today, we formally recognize Earth as keepers of the living archive, protectors of biological wisdom too precious to lose. The chamber erupted in sounds Maya could not translate, but the meaning was clear: approval, respect, wonder. Later, Elder Kesare took Maya to a sacred chamber deep within the Drakthar mothership. The walls were covered in crystalline recordings, millions of them, glowing softly in the darkness. This is the long memory, Kesare explained. Every important event in Drakthar history, preserved in our tradition, every name worth remembering, every deed worth honoring. 40,000 years of memory. The ancient dragon touched a crystal and it blazed with light. Maya saw images of herself in the garden, saw her grandmother's journal, saw the eye-bright flowers blooming. We have added your story to the long memory, Kesare said softly. Your name, your grandmother's name, the knowledge you shared. For the next 40,000 years, every Drakthar child will learn about the human who taught us to see again. They will learn about the species that gave away their greatest gift because it was the right thing to do. Maya felt tears on her cheeks. My grandmother would have liked that. There is more, Kesare continued. We have done something unprecedented. We have added human history to the long memory. Your stories, your struggles, your triumphs. We have woven your species into our sacred record. When Drakthar speak of the long memory now, it includes both our peoples. Maya stared at the glowing crystals. We're part of your history now. You are part of our family now, Kesare corrected. Back on New Appalachia, Maya discovered that Dr. Vasquez had been conducting research. He found her in the gardens and pulled up holographic displays of molecular structures. I've been studying why Earth medicines work on alien biology, he said excitedly. Maya, it's incredible. Earth's biodiversity represents billions of years of evolution. Life on our planet has faced and overcome almost every biological challenge imaginable. When you use Earth plants to heal aliens, you're using solutions that evolution tested for eons. Maya looked at the flowers around her with new understanding. We're not just sharing medicine. We're sharing billions of years of Earth's problem-solving. Exactly, Vasquez said. Other species have advanced technology, but Earth has something unique. A complete pharmaceutical library written in DNA by evolution itself. That's why you're so valuable. That's why the Drakthar guard you. The 13,000 ships had never left. They formed a permanent shield around Earth and her colonies now. A protection that no human had asked for, but that the Drakthar insisted upon. Other species have begun adding their own ships to the defense, creating an alliance fleet dedicated to protecting humanity. On Maya's last evening before returning to the Institute, she sat with a group of young students, both human and alien, under the stars. She opened her grandmother's journal and read aloud. Every living thing holds answers, Maya read. Every plant, every creature, every bit of soil has lessons to teach us. Our job is not to conquer nature, but to listen to it, learn from it, and share what we discover with others. The smallest seed can grow the largest tree, and the simplest kindness can change the world. A small human boy raised his hand. Miss Maya, do you think your grandmother knew what would happen when she wrote that? Maya closed the journal gently. I think she knew that kindness always matters, even when we can't see where it leads. She taught me to help people, not because of what I might gain, but because it's right. That's all I did. The rest just grew from there, like a seed becoming a tree. Elder Sagered approached, his shadow falling across the group. There's a new word in the Drakthar language, he announced. Before, we had different words for healer and teacher. Now we have one word that means both. S.H. Maya. It did not exist until we met you. Maya smiled up at the ancient dragon. Just one word. One word for an idea we have forgotten, S.H. Zara said. That healing and teaching are the same thing.